Do you look at today's space-related LEGO sets and think to yourself, what the heck am I looking at? But let's go back to a day and age. Years ago, 2013, when LEGO came out with a new banger out of nowhere called LEGO Galaxy Squad. Remember back in the day when LEGO had awesome original action themes and space themes? Well, that ended in 2013 or whenever Galaxy Squad ended. I'm joined by my partner in crime named Daniel Lewa. We're doing the privilege today of ranking every single Galaxy Squad set. There's about 12. How are we feeling about this?
This is an awesome theme. If any of you missed out on it when it came out 2013, 2014, then you missed out because this is the last big base theme. Yeah, I know we have like this new city space stuff and dream space and friend space and technic space, but that is not the same. And seeing all this friend stuff has made us long for the days of action-packed crazy sets with wild villains.
Going with the number 12 pick. Let's get the polybags out of the way. Yes, we're including the polybags. Let's get the polybags out of the way. The Space Insectoid. And this is not even a bad polybag because it literally comes with a minifigure from the green team and you could literally army build these. I think that's a reoccurring theme we're going to see a lot within Galaxy Squad is the potential to army build both sides of the insects and the protags.
It reminds me a lot of Nexo Knights in some ways, or even a lot of Star Wars battle packs where all of these are so massable. And you can literally get all the good guys, all the bad guys, multiples of the good guys, multiples of the bad guys.
What do you think about our number 11 pick?
The mini mech, yeah, it's just a little walker thing, and there's a guy. It's not really anything to it, but you could also get a bazillion of these to fight the bugs.
So maybe this is actually the worst one. They're both polybags. There's both not much to talk about. Number 10, we're getting into the real sets. The Swarm Interceptor. Maybe the most average of the actual sets, kind of run of the mill, but even the colors on this one, it really feels like an arcade spaceship.
What's really cool about all of the, especially the good guys sets, almost all the vehicles can split into multiple different things and have multiple different features. So for instance, this one, the front cockpit can pop off and you can fly that around. And the back, the wings actually turn into little legs. So you can have kind of a turret mech thing with a gun and everything for the guy to shoot from. So really cool split function. And we're going to see those get even more crazier as we go on this list.
What do you think about number 9, the Crater Creeper?
Really cool little function. Very simple. Gets the job done. You have the green team, and you have the green team, which is the specialization in defense. They're all about defense, and like they're the tank. So it makes sense that they would be trying to take on these big bug.
Yeah, we kind of cut off the side build here, but one good thing about Galaxy Squad is the side builds actually aren't that bad whatsoever. I really don't think the little mini speeders and scooters and little hover tanks are really that bad, and I'm a side build hater. Look at this sleek, unique bug molded head with 4 eyes, 4 pincers. Our number 8 spot goes to the Star Slicer. Now, we see the same minifigure here except with red, and this is the only set that red bug actually comes in. We now have the blue team, which is the more technical scientific team in charge of all the science, and that translates really well to their robots and the theming of their vehicles.
It's a very distinctive silhouette, and that's really cool. With a lot of these sets, there's enough detail and imagination where it will prompt your own storytelling. And I think that's really fun for a lot of kids where you have this action and all of these different characters. You have all of these unique features and especially distinct characteristics that really prompts the imagination to want to tell stories. And having a giant praying mantis bug going around, I think, prompts that kind of imagination.
Yes, we don't need a TV show. Let us use a little bit of imagination for once. Would you? What do you think about number 7, the Vermin Vaporizer?
This is deceptively complex because this actually splits into 3 vehicles. The mech on the back, the whole scientific, it has like a whole scientific study zone where the mech sits. And then even where the cockpit is, a little mini buggy rolls out. So there's so much going on. You get a ton of bang for your buck. And, the bugs aren't going to stand a chance because this thing is just loaded.
And they highlighted perfectly the defense of the green team. Just look at how the silhouette of this vehicle is so striking. Sometimes the split function takes away from the overall build, but this one is kind of a highlight because they needed to include that mech, and that added for a unique silhouette. It has a little side build, again with the same regular rare bug minifigure. His side build is okay. So basically you're spending $60 to get triple vehicles and a whole tank setup. I love especially the little bug splatters on the windshield on the front. Really awesome detail. Number 6, the Warp Stinger. Some of these names go so hard. It's a mosquito. This is our first set in our ranking where we're seeing the red team, which is focused on speed and agility. highlighted well in the robot minifigure with the sleeked back head. Bug minifigure is perfectly matching as a mosquito as well.
I love the robot guys. They're so cool. And the fact that each team has their own like specially unique molded head on their robot guy, that is also very cool for the imagination as a kid or as an adult. Think like, why, like, what is the purpose of all these different robots? What can they do? And so that's really fun to see highlighted here, along with yet another very cool insect build.
What is our number 5 pick?
The Space Swarmer, otherwise known as the most massable set of all time. Can you imagine if you had like 100 of these? People like to build clone armies, but I feel like this would even be cooler to have just a Space Swarmer army. You have bazillion bugs and tons of little minifigures. That would be pretty ferocious antagonist.
Yeah, I might get a little backlash for this one. Like, why is it such a small, tiny set is taking the 5th spot over the other ones? But it almost reminds me of Wreck-It Ralph. Do you remember when they go into the Call of Duty inspired game and there was just these swarms of bugs? Just the whole silhouette of it is perfect, and you just want to get 10 of them and have a massive bug army. That's the cool thing about having bugs, is because usually bugs travel in large groups. You think of ants, you think of beehives. So that's why this smaller set ranks up so high. Our number 4th pick, boom, baby. What is wrong with me today? The CLS 89 Eradicator Mech. It is really dope. One downside to this set is there is no bug minifigures, which is kind of a Debbie Downer for minifigure fans. But it does slightly make up for it with 2 unique bug crawlers. One of them is more of a land one of them has wings, so you will be doing plenty of bug splattering.
If we think about all the mechs that we ranked in a previous video, this is, a pretty good one, because not only does it look pretty solid on its own, but you can also split this and have a flyer and also a mech all in one.
The orange team is here, and they're all about offense. That translates pretty well in this set, but they have another one coming up. What is our number 3 pick?
The Bug Obliterator, which is really distinctive. We haven't really seen anything quite like this. It kind of reminds me of some of the Mars mission style builds, especially with the colors. But the fact that you can actually take that whole ship off the top, leave a whole rover, and all of the figures to also come in this, it's a no-brainer if you want to get into this theme.
This is the set that highlights the orange team the best. This is probably the orange team's main vehicle, is because there's cannons upon cannons upon cannons. They're talking about offense, offense, offense. You can see the robot has a giant friggin' laser gatling. And this is even more of a dual set, because the side build is pretty substantial, the giant bug. So it's almost like a 2-for-1. Man, this is just really fun. Every single set has had a unique silhouette so far, which is pretty dope. Number 2 pick, top 2. This is called the Galactic Titan. This is they call Conflict in a Box. This is a mega space tank that can separate and have a spaceship. Biggest set in the wave, I believe. The Centipede is extremely cool, because we're talking about arcade related space. How about the game Centipede, the literal classic? So that's just an extreme bonus having that as a side build. And even the little egg holder side build is really cool, because you can pop the eggs up. Makes for great conflict. How could you go wrong?
Yeah, literally. I loved playing with this when I was younger, because you have such sizable builds for both the good guys and the bad guys, including the Mantizoid bug figure and the little larvae guys. It's just so fun. There's like so much you can do in the one set. And yeah, it was $100, but for $100, you got everything that you needed to have a whole setting, a whole galactic attack battle. And the ship itself also is really cool, because the entire top pops off as a whole flying machine, and then the bottom is a tank. And I love tanks. Dreaded vehicles are so cool. And we need more of those, especially in space sets.
Yeah, you look at the space sets today, and they're just not as unique as this. And maybe that's what they want to do, because they want to generalize things to be more broad for all audiences, but kind of a Debbie Downer in my book. Now, the number 1 pick is, if you're a Galaxy Squad fan, you might already know by now, the Hive Crawler. That's pretty close between this and the Galactic Titan, but why did we choose the Hive Crawler, Daniel?
There are not a lot of sets that have a perfect combination of form and function. This set is built flawlessly so that all 6 legs are able to completely walk, basically, and have a beautiful simulated walking motion as you roll the bug across the ground. And it works really well. When Matt had this when he was younger, we had a lot of fun just like playing with it, and it's very threatening. If you go up against this, it's going to suck. But not only that, you have a launcher in the back, and you're literally launching little balls of the larvae guys at the enemy. There's just so much cool stuff packed into one set. It's so iconic. We've never seen a set quite like this, maybe since the 90s, 80s with Insectoids or something like that.
And I don't know if we ever will again. Maybe Monkey Kid is the next comparable thing with like the Spider
Probably.
Queen. That's like the closest thing that's possible. But this one is just the final boss of the whole wave, the mother queen insect who shoots the eggs out. They pop open, and the function works so great. It's like not a shoddy function where, oh, sometimes it's working, sometimes not. The side build is okay. The speeder is kind of shoddy, so probably the side build on the Galactic Titan is better with the Insectoids. But overall thoughts for Galaxy Squad, what are we thinking? Because obviously this didn't sell that well, did it? Because it never got renewed.
Well, we don't know how well it sold or not because there were never rumors of more years, or it didn't feel like it was just cut off randomly. It felt like you had a year of just tons of great stuff. You didn't necessarily need more. You could tell all sorts of cool, crazy stories within this, within these few sets. And you got everything, all the factions, all the pro tags, all the antags. It does make me long for, like I said, more fun, creative space sets. City ones, I'm sorry, they just don't do it for me. And definitely we see more of the spiritual successor for this kind of things in Monkey Kid and other games, a little bit in Ninjago, especially with some of the mechs and stuff like that.
And Dreams.
Yeah.
Dreams is just not doing it for us particularly.
I was a teenager when I got into this theme, and there are not a lot of themes that teenagers like. And if you were a teenager and you thought this theme was cool or is cool, let us know, because I feel like, yeah, LEGO does a terrible job marketing with teenagers, but teenagers love sick, cool stuff, dope stuff. This is an example of that. It's cool, it's action-packed, and it doesn't hold back.
One thing I noticed in this sort of retrospective that we had is there's really one female minifigure in this entire wave, which is, it's whatever, but this is definitely not really appealing to general female audiences. Not saying you can't like it if you're female, but this is really like a male power fantasy type thing, so it is kind of wedged directly into one gender. That's okay, because they try to do different themes for different, targeted towards different ages and genders, but that's what they're trying to do with Dreams now, is trying to get a broader audience of, okay, this is guys and girls, but it just feels more all over the place. So maybe this is the right approach to do specific themes, just completely targeted. This is what we're doing. We're doing dope bugs, we're doing dope space mechs, and this is what we're doing. Do a different theme that covers a different category. Yes, 1 through 10 rate Galaxy Squad as a theme. Which ones did you have? I would probably give it a 8 out of 10.
I would probably give it a 9 out of 10 because it's so solid and you get everything you want. There's not a lot of story prompt, and maybe you could see that as a bad thing, like, oh, maybe you want something more substantial as far as the characters and the story goes, but the sets themselves, they speak for themselves.
100 and trillion%. Amen, Daniel Lewa. Another day, another Daniel Lewa W. Based Chad W. Subscribe and that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.